Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. Andrey Santos' story is starting to take shape, ladies and gentlemen. It's starting to heat up. It's come to a situation that some of us believed that it was going to arrive at. And now it's getting uncomfortable for a lot of people. This conversation is getting uncomfortable. Look, I want to put aside all jokes, all sorts of banter towards our ownership, towards our directorship, and actually talk about this situation on a serious level. We're going to go through a whole heap of news in regards to Andrey Santos. The picture that is now being built, the story that is now being created is that he definitely wants to be one of the number one midfielders for Chelsea Football Club and doesn't want to play second fiddle to no one. The story that is being portrayed to us that he's had a superb season at Strasbourg and he's ready. He's ready to take over and be an important factor for Chelsea Football Club. Now, all of that is definitely true. All of that is definitely has a lot of merit behind that. This is my thought before we get into the news, right? Before we get into the news, this is my thoughts. These are my thoughts on Andrey Santos. I believe Andrey Santos is an excellent midfielder. I've seen quite a bit of him last season at Strasbourg, especially him, and he looks like a top midfielder. It is also well known that he is one of the best young midfielders going around in Europe, right? He had a stellar season at Strasbourg last season, and now he's at a situation where he definitely wants to start. There are clubs, big clubs like Bayern Munich, that are after his signature as well. So these are facts. These are the truth about Andrey Santos. If you look at from his perspective, you can understand. He's done his undergraduation at Strasbourg. He's now at a level where he doesn't want to go backwards in his career. He wants to take it forward. He wants to be at a football club that understands him and values his skill set to the point where he's an important factor, not a backup factor, but an important factor. So from his perspective, if you were to wear his shoes, you could get that, look, I don't want to be, I don't want to prove myself again. I think I've proven enough that I deserve to start. From Chelsea's perspective and from a broader perspective, I feel when you've got players like Caicedo, when you've got players like Enzo Fernandez, it's very difficult to crack into that midfield and be a bona fide starter. Then you add Romeo Lavia, who is highly rated at Chelsea Football Club and highly rated by the fan base as well. His biggest problem is he's generally injured. But if he gets that right, then you have, three midfielders that are potentially, well, two definitely, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, that are definitely at a higher pecking order than Andrey Santos. And then if Romeo Lavia gets his injury situation all corrected, then you potentially have a third one that is probably just ahead of Andrey Santos as well. So where does that leave Andrey Santos? It leaves him sort of like that fourth picking. Then you throw in a player like Osugu. Chelsea Football Club have also said Andrey Santos will not be looked at. These are the briefings that's coming through. Will not be looked at as a replacement for Caicedo. He'll be looked at as a replacement for Enzo Fernandez, right? So if Enzo Fernandez is playing, Andrey Santos is not starting. And Andrey Santos is definitely not going to be a contender for Caicedo's position, even though there's a belief that he can definitely play as a deep-lying midfielder, as a defensive midfielder, someone from deep who's very good on the ball and has got very good defensive attributes as well. He's not going to be considered that because Osugu, the briefings have been telling us, he's the one who's going to interchange with Caicedo. Don't forget, so far we've only talked about Caicedo's backup and Enzo Fernandez's backup being Andrey Santos. There's still Romeo Lavia. So you've got the player that wants to start. He don't want to do no more auditioning. He wants starting lineup opportunities and wants to feel important. Chelsea, as you can see, there's a conundrum. There is a definite conundrum that we can't offer you, we can't promise you starting position. So this is now coming to a mesh. This is now colliding. Both of these ideologies are now colliding, and it's coming to a situation where something's got to give. Something's got to give. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, so far in the Club World Cup, he's not even featured. In a competition, we've played LAFC, where he could have definitely got more than bare minimum minutes, and against Flamengo, a club that he knows very well, a club that was a rival for him when he was in Vasco da Gama, he didn't feature against them either. So the story that is slowly developing is that he's getting upset. He wants to understand where his position is. And what all these stories is also doing is it's changing some parts of the fan base and their mentality. You can already see certain parts of the fan base are like, do you know what? Now, who does Andrey Santos think he is? If you're going to come to Chelsea Football Club, there are players in front of you. You're going to have to prove yourself. So it's already changing. But then there are other parts of the fan base that are thinking, nah, you know what? You don't build a squad like this. You try and build a squad with quality players. You try and convince them to stay with you. You try and give them as much as importance as possible, because moving forward in the Premier League, in the Champions League, you want to have a squad full of quality with you. You don't want to be getting rid of quality. But on top of all of this, there's a financial factor as well, ladies and gentlemen, where if Chelsea Football Club can get a very, very fine fee for Andrey Santos, they'll probably entertain that. They'll probably entertain, because they'll see that, you know what, by keeping him, we're potentially going to make him unhappy, and then it's going to be difficult to be sold. So that's how I see it, the whole situation in a nutshell. Let's now look through some of the news, ladies and gentlemen, and actually try and understand what's going on. This is coming from Max, but the commentary is actually from Ben Jacobs. I think we'll start hearing a lot of noise from Andrey's camp if he's not getting minutes. Yeah, I don't think this is far-fetched at all. You will start hearing noise if he doesn't feature. I think Andrey does not see himself as number two to anyone. He's seeing himself as someone who, if he gets a chance, can stay in the side. Is there a scenario where he leaves the Club World Cup and feels doubt of his Chelsea pathway? Chelsea have all the cards, but Andrey feels after last season he's ready for minutes. So I just want to quickly read this part again. I think Andrey does not see himself as a number two to anyone. He's seeing himself as someone who, if he gets a chance, can stay in the side. Is there a scenario where he leaves the Club World Cup and feels doubtful of his Chelsea pathway? Like, it seems like there's something happening in the background. It seems like the player is not totally happy, and understandable. The right thing needs to happen for the player. The right thing needs to happen for the club. The way I look at it, it's probably not at a situation where you can give Andrey Santos a complete promise that you're going to start, because you have Enzo Fernandez, because you have Caicedo, and also Romeo Lavia. Now, season's long. Don't get me wrong. Next season, long. Lots of matches in the Premier League, lots of domestic cups as well, lots of matches in the Champions League. Andrey Santos probably feels he wants to play most of it. And that is the problem, that he probably cannot be promised to play most of it. He come off the bench, sure. You might start the odd game here and there, sure. You're not going to be promised anything at Chelsea Football Club. And that is the issue here. It is hoped that Santos is willing to be patient for minutes. Bayern Munich have been linked, coming from Guardian Sports. So Chelsea are trying to sell this PR to the fan base that, hey, look, Santos needs to be patient. He needs to calm down. He cannot start all of this noise. Andrey Santos needs to remember that Chelsea are about to embark on a campaign in which their stamina will be tested by playing in the Champions League. So this is what it's all about now. The whole idea is, Andrey Santos, we want to see how patient you are. We want to test you. Can you stay patient and be calm for your opportunity to come? Or are you going to create havoc in the background? And if you do, I feel like Chelsea's going to sell him. As I said, me personally, keeping all jokes aside, I think Andrey Santos is a fantastic player, but it's a problem. It's a problem that we have. How do you ensure that he gets good minutes? Because he is at a situation where he does not want to be a second fiddle. It is to be hoped that Santos, who has been linked with Bayern Munich, is ready to be patient. Getting no minutes against Flamengo will be a disappointment given that the Brazilian international played for their great rivals Vasco da Gama. But it is important to maintain perspective. Santos is still a newcomer after all and will surely be given an opportunity to prove that he can compete with Fernandes. There you go. And this is coming from Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, and he's saying that Chelsea feel that he will be patient and he will stay calm until he gets his opportunity to compete with who? Enzo Fernandez. Not with Caicedo, with Enzo Fernandez. So that limits his option even more. There's only one position that he can play, and it seems like it's that number 8 position what Enzo Fernandez has been doing for Enzo Maresca, which limits him even further. So let's see, ladies and gentlemen, how this story develops. But I feel like everything is now slowly cooking to a scenario where he might be pushed out, or we are looking to get buyers, because I find it very difficult how we can promise him quality minutes. We've got Esperance coming up in the Club World Cup. I highly doubt he's going to start. It's a must-win game. I'm pretty certain it'll be Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo starting. And then maybe Andrey Santos gets some minutes off the bench. But we shall see. We shall see. But this story, ladies and gentlemen, is now developing very, very fast. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, where you stand with Andrey Santos' story. Now, next up, ladies and gentlemen, in the last video, if you've missed out, the last video earlier on UK time today, where I talked about Malo Gusto, we've been linked with we've been linked with Flamengo left right back Wesley. And I said, we need definitive answers. As a fan base, we need definitive answers. I'm already seeing that a lot of people are already over Malo Gusto. Literally 12 months ago, he was someone who was touted as one of the better or one of the best right backs in the league. And now all of a sudden, I'll get rid of him because of the way we've changed our style and because of his poor form for the past 12 months. We can't be doing this, especially on players that have only shown 12 months of poor form, and just talk about getting rid of them. I can understand where players for 2-3 years have not shown any type of promise, you want to get rid of, no problems. But players like Malo Gusto has proven in the first season against when he was with Pochettino. Under Pochettino, he's proven that he was a very good right back. Last 12 months been very difficult, but is that now enough for us to say, yeah, get rid of him? But this is the story that's developing as well, ladies and gentlemen. He seems like might be pushed out as well. Bayern have been scouting Malo Gusto, who could leave Chelsea this summer. No departures for Bayern yet, though, so it's not priority right now. So let's see, once again, what happens with Malo Gusto. I feel like getting rid of him might be a bit premature. Let's see one more season what he does, and see if he can snap out of his bad form. One thing he definitely needs to improve on a lot is his defending. His defending has drastically declined over the last 12 months, but I do also understand him consistently playing in that inverted role doesn't suit him either. We are, because of the manager's style, because of the way he wants to play, it is having a negative impact on certain players. He's definitely one of them. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, the Premier League have written to Chelsea to seek clarification over the club's position with ticket resellers amid controversy over vivid seats. We'll see how this story develops. Premier League has now written to Chelsea, wanting to understand. If you guys remember, not that long ago, we were talking about how Todd Bowley is part owner of a company, Vivid Seats, who then, sells all of these Premier League tickets for extortionate amount of money, crazy amount of money. Basic Premier League tickets are being sold for 2, 3, 4,000. Ticket touting, basically. That's what it is. Legalized ticket. Well, it's not even legalized, but it's made to seem like it's legalized ticket touting. So we'll see how this story develops as well and what comes out of it. But it's not looking good for Todd Bowley, where ticket touting is, absolutely illegal in UK, especially in the Premier League. And we have our owner who's going out there purchasing these tickets, most likely from the match-going fans, putting it up for sale, and then he's reselling them on for a crazy amount of money because there are buyers out there. There are buyers out there. That is the latest. Let's see if there's anything else that has popped through since we started doing the video. Just want to make sure that everything is there. That's it. That's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Smash up the like button. Let me know your thoughts, especially about Andrey Santos. Where do you stand? Do you feel that he might be sold? Do you feel that we need to convince him to stay and give him quality minutes for next season? Let me know your thoughts. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya.